James Cockle, born on 14 January 1819, Great Oakley, Essex, England, died on 27 January 1895, Bayswater, London, England. Summary: James Cockle was an English lawyer and mathematician who wrote papers on both pure and applied mathematics as well as on the history of science. He became Chief Justice of England. Biography: James Cockle's father, also named James Cockle, was a doctor who both treated patients and manufactured his own medicines to sell. James Sr. married Elizabeth, whose maiden name was probably Mose, in 1890. They had five sons and one daughter. The family moved from Great Oakley to London when James, the subject of this biography, was still a child. James entered Starmount House, Kensington in 1825 and was educated there until 1829 when he attended Charterhouse as a day pupil for 2 years. From 1831 to 1836, he attended a private school in Ramsgate where his talent for mathematics became apparent. Cockle married Adelaide Catherine Wilkine on 22 August 1855. They had 9 children. His legal career continued to flourish and he appointed Chief Justice for Queensland, Australia in 1836. His effort there in difficult circumstances were quite outstanding. For his efforts in Australia, then of course a British colony, Cockle was knighted in 1869. He remained in Queensland until 1878 when he returned to England. He was supposed to spend a year in England, then return to Queensland, and indeed the people of Queensland were keen to see him return. However, he resigned his post, deciding to retire and spend his retirement in England. Despite the positions of high authority that Cockle held, he was remarkably productive as a mathematician, publishing over 100 papers. He wrote papers on both pure and applied mathematics as well as on the history of science. On the former topic, he wrote on fluid dynamics and magnetism. Most of his work, however, was in pure mathematics, where he studied algebra, the theory of equations, and differential equations. He had a collaborator on mathematical work, a Congregationalist minister named Robert Harley. Cockle joined the Royal Astronomical Society in 1854, the Cambridge Philosophical Society in 1856, and the London Mathematical Society in 1870. He served as the president of the London Mathematical Society from 1886 to 1888. Much earlier, in 1865, he had been honoured with the election to the Royal Society of London. After his presidency of the London Mathematical Society, Cockle became a member of the Council of the Royal Astronomical Society, serving in this role from 1888 to 1892. Given the office he had held in Australia, one would have expected him to take a leading role in many of the discussions.